Well, I want to get on to this interesting thesis, I guess you would call it. It says that there are certain colors that are associated or understood to be vibrationally related to the sun signs, or astrological signs. So I'm going to go through all the astrological signs, and I'm going to comment a little bit about, how they actually... You'd almost think, maybe it's just a superstition, but then again, maybe it's not. It could be the thing where it's subtle energies, subtle influences, not something that it's earth-shattering, it's got to be that way, but there could be some subtle hints. I think a lot of people do suspect that astrology does have subtle influences on our lives and our outlooks and what our actual karma is going to be and all that type of stuff. So let me start off with Aquarius. Aquarius is actually associated with the color violet, and the higher the frequency, that's really violet would be the highest frequency, whereas red would be the lowest frequency and the longest amplitude. Pisces is associated with scarlet, like a deep red, the two fishes. Aries is associated with magneta, which is a type of, it's almost like a purplish red. Taurus, the bull, is associated with red, the color red. Gemini is associated with the color blue. And Cancer is associated with lemon being like yellow, but not quite yellow, more like maybe a hint of green in it too. Then you have Leo the lion associated with green. And we have Virgo associated with purple. Now purple and violet, very close. It's very similar. Very much the highest frequency, the highest chakra. You'd almost think, Aquarius and Libra do get along. I mean, maybe they're similar colors. Maybe that's something to do with that. I don't know if that... But actually, there's supposed to be a vibrational frequency associated with the astrological signs, and that is why there's a color associated with those signs. Libra is supposed to be indigo, which is a deep blue. Now you can figure, Libra and Gemini are bluish color. They kind of go along. It's, whatever. I don't know if that works that way. Scorpio is associated with the color orange. Now orange is also associated with the sex chakra. And Scorpio is, associated with a high sex drive. That's one of the things. And a lot of people say, Scorpio. Anyway. And Sagittarius is associated with the color yellow. And Capricorn is associated, with all the colors. White being all the colors. So when you get down to this expression of the chakras, and I don't know if I have this on here very well displayed. I guess that we do have it a little bit better like that. The crown spiritual chakra, and I've mentioned this before, but to something else I always picked up on and I thought was interesting. Not that it was written anywhere in the colors books or things with color therapy or with astrology or with any of this type of chakras, but the color purple was always associated with the Emperor of Rome. The imperial purple, the purple cloak, even if the emperor was out in the field, and he didn't have all the vestiges of his office with him, he would still have a coarse cloak of the color purple. That would be the only thing to indicate he was the emperor. It signifies, purple is the highest frequency. As a matter of fact, when you're looking at the sun, you'll see all the different colors. You don't really see colors. You see just white light coming through. But when you're looking at the sunset, the only thing that comes through is the oranges and reddish colors because they're the longest wavelength and the slowest frequency. That's the only thing that makes it through the atmosphere at an extreme angle. But then you look at, I also found interesting, say for instance, I mentioned that orange is associated with Scorpio has always been noted for its high sex drive, and you see that's the sex chakra. The sex chakra. So, Taurus, is the bull. The bull being strength. Red. It's red. That's the color associated with it. It's also associated with the survival chakra. Sagittarius associated with power, the solar plexus. It's then you have like Gemini associated with the throat expression, which that's Gemini's been noted with communication. I mean, it's kind of like, I was looking at this, I says, well, that's kind of weird because you think about Gemini, it's communication. There's the throat, but it's not just. Well, there's like two types of blue. They can call this blue. Can also be the third eye perception, or it could be the throat chakra. Sometimes this is called a blue-green. Sometimes that's a blue. It depends. Sometimes this is dark blue, and that's a regular blue. Nobody really agrees with it all the way, but I still found that to be interesting. That, also you heard of Leo the lion, right? Leo the lion, associated with green, the heart of a lion, heart and love, green. Kind of wild. I mean, actually, when I think about this, and like Libra, I guess Libra would be third eye perception more. Maybe that's his color that's associated with the third eye perception. Aquarius, probably the spiritual, the age of Aquarius. That's what we're running into. Aries would be somewhere between these two, between spiritual and perception. It is fairly interesting, I mean, it is fairly interesting that when you're looking at these different things, there's a lot of, and I guess Capricorn would be the entire body all at once. I mean, the whole body all at once. Virgo would also be associated with the color purple. The crown is spiritual. But it's interesting that how some of the astrological signs, and they come up with these colors, and when they say the main attributes of these astrological signs, they seem to go along with the colors that are associated with the body chakras. And I said, wow, that's kind of crazy. It's maybe just a fun, interesting note. The fact that, again, I'll repeat it again. Red is associated with the bull, associated with Taurus. Taurus being strong, survive, and all that type of stuff. The orange is associated with Scorpio. Scorpio has always been noted for a high sex drive. But you have other ones in there, like Sagittarius associated with the solar plexus. Sagittarius is kind of a jack of all trades, I guess, sign. Power. Leo is associated with green, the heart expression. That's the only one that really is clear-cut green. But Leo the lion in the heart of a lion. I mean, it's like, you remember the story of Oz, the Wizard of Oz, It was like, what was he looking for, right? The lion, what was he looking for? The throat expression, the throat expression is the Gemini, a talker. God, that's interesting in itself. And then the third eye perception actually is, well, it could be, sometimes they have the throat expression as like a blue-green, an aqua color, and sometimes they have the third eye is blue, the third eye being Gemini, but then on this one it's different. The third eye in this one would be Libra, like a bluish color, a darker blue, which is something where Libras have a strong sense of perception. They do. That's one of the things. And the highest chakra is actually associated with, well, it could actually be two signs, Virgo purple or Aquarius violet. So that's interesting in itself too, the spirituality. And it's weird that the signs actually come out that way. I don't know if that really means anything or anything, but it's just kind of strange. And I figured I'd put it out here because I was doing some research into this stuff, and then I says, well, this is fairly interesting. So again, if we're going back through the signs again, and hopefully this video is not going to be, misconstrued as time lag on the voice here. But the Aquarius is violet, and then we have Pisces, the scarlet. That's the Pisces, and then we have Aries, the Magneta, and then we have Taurus, the red. And then we have Gemini. Gemini is going to be the blue. And then we have Cancer coming up, which will be, Cancer is the lemon. And then we have Leo for the green. And these are all different frequencies. So in other words, I'll go over that real quickly again. But the Virgo is purple. And then we have Libra is indigo. And then we have Scorpio is the orange. And then we have Sagittarius is the yellow. And then we have Capricorn, finally, is the white, which is all the colors put together. So actually the way this works is the highest frequency in the spectrum of colors is the purple. And then it goes into the deep blues, into the greens, into yellow, into the orange, into the red. So that's from the lowest frequency to the highest frequency. That's just how it is. That's how they have it associated. Now, I've been wondering if some of this stuff is actually true with color light therapy, but I don't know. If anybody wants to experiment when I actually showed something, instead of spending hundreds of dollars, you can just go get yourself a lamp or light bulb that screws into a fixture that's got Bluetooth capability with a remote, and you can just turn the color of the light any way, which way you want, and it's LED, and it's, I don't know, maybe 20 to 40 bucks or roughly in that area. And if it doesn't help you in your quest for whatever you're looking for, it still could be a fun thing. So anyway, but it's amazing how the actual planets themselves are very much attuned to frequencies, and that in itself means they're attuned to various chakras of the body, which also means they're attuned to various colors. So it may be something where it's like slightly true, and we'll call it subtle energies versus an axiom where it's like going to dictate every aspect of your life. But maybe it's subtle energies that you should not ignore. Anyway, I thought you might find this interesting. I did anyway. I thought it was kind of wild that some of these things have been correlating, even though I thought they were separate sciences. So who knows? Maybe somebody does know something.